Okay, so let's get started for today. So to start off with some important announcements. So if you'd like your work critiqued, if you are curious how to get your work onto my videos, go to istebrak.com and click on the Reddit icon right here. That'll take you to my subreddit where you can submit your stuff, get critique from your fellow members, and also have a look at the top. There's two announcements. This is over, but it's still at a 50%. It's still technically on sale. The sale price that Portrait Studio is currently on will be out, like it will be done over come June 1st. June 1st is the release date of my masterclass. Wait a second, June 1st. Right? Yeah. So Wednesday, June 1st, my masterclass will be released. I will be sending out announcements everywhere for it, so don't worry. But I've been announcing it every critique hour just in case you guys miss it somehow. And it will be at least 3 to 4 hour long tutorial on how to paint a face from scratch and everything that goes into it. It is exactly what you think of when you think portraiture masterclass. Everything that goes into it. It comes with up to 8,000 words. It's already hitting. Notes written by me personally. For those who learn better with notes, lists, are a little bit more technical thinkers. They need diagrams. That will all be available in the notes. And you could read the notes while you watch the video. It's synced. The notes are synced with the video. And yeah, it's just a powerhouse of information when it comes to portraits. It's a 14-day challenge companion tutorial. So if you are starting the 14-day challenge, if you're new to it, if it's just a bit too intimidating, and you feel like you need a lesson dedicated to portraits, my masterclass is just going to be perfect for that. Yeah. For the Floral Humanoid Design Challenge, so that is due May 5th, so 2 Thursdays from now. It will be, the winner will be decided on the 4th, so you guys have to submit before the 5th by a while. I mean, you have to be done by the 4th, and submitted and completed. And then from that, I will pick a winner, and the winner will get a free Portrait Studio copy. The winner will get a portfolio review with me if I can allow that, if I have time for it. But that's just like an extra reward. And they will attend the video with me. They will attend the call with me on the 5th, and they'll help me critique the pieces that are handed in to the challenge. And what is the challenge? It's basically designing flower humanoids, creatures that are made of a specific flower that exists in the world right now. And it's just a way for us to celebrate the coming of spring and all the blooms and all of that. And it's make sure that you read through it. It's pinned at the top of the Reddit community. Make sure you read through it and everything that goes into that. Final little announcement, if you are enjoying my classes, if you find that my classes have changed you somehow, have helped you, please consider supporting on Patreon. It's not like $20. You have a lot of tiers. $20 is educational material. All I'm asking for is for people to hop on for the $1 or $5, mostly just the $1 watchers. And that's $1 a month for 8 free, at least 7 or 6, but up to 8 free videos, 2 videos a week, an hour-long lectures of today's critique hour. So today's video is shortened and submitted to YouTube publicly, and that's been working, by the way. My channel is growing again, and I'm getting views again, and I think it was because my videos were too long. But now that my videos are shorter, more of my community gets out there. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You get less, but there is the option of joining as a watcher to get all the videos you've missed. Plus, joining the stream every Tuesday and Thursday on Twitch, istebrak.com or twitch.com/istebrak, you can get the whole class for free if you just join live. So there's really, it's very, very free in a lot of ways. And I really encourage you guys to join the live streams. They're very fun, very interactive, and they make it feel like a class, and they make you accountable, you know, they make you think about your schedule, and treating it like a class you would have in school, and making you take your art a little bit more seriously. So I really encourage you guys to join me on stream whenever you can. And that's it. Let's get started on today's class. So let's talk about working from reference. So right off the bat, you can see that this person used way too much contrast, way more contrast than they needed. And it makes you wonder, if you're seeing it work in a reference, why did you need to adjust it in yours? Like, what's your reasoning? That you wanted better lighting? You're not skilled enough to have a taste when it comes to lighting. I mean, lighting taste is an acquired taste, and it comes from skill, because you've tried them all, and you understand which one you feel you like dresses form the best. Lighting is like clothing for form. So when you guys make decisions that are just, you know, random decisions to just make a reference, you picked the reference, so why didn't you follow it? But when you deviate outside of what the reference is telling you, it just sounds like crutch work. It just sounds like you're too scared of what you're seeing in the reference, and so you want to adjust it to something more familiar. It doesn't feel like, oh, this was a taste-related choice that had to do with, oh, you know, I just like this lighting better. Because I've heard that a lot. I did it because I like it better. You don't know what you're doing. Respect that. If you're gonna pick a reference, if you're at the stage where you've left intermediate, or have entered intermediate, you've left beginner for the most part, you can paint a pretty decent front view, no reference, and you now want to branch out your skill into some reference work. Respect the reference you picked, because the reference is not going to lie about the mistakes you made. So what does that mean? If you make mistakes with your reference, if you make mistakes with them, your reference is going to tattle on you. It's going to say where your major issues are, which is why in private tutoring, I use photo referencing as one of the most important. First of all, it's an entry-level assignment for advanced students. So there's an entry level for all tiers, advanced, intermediate, beginner. It's a go-to for whenever my students want to level up. But it's also a really amazing diagnostics tool, because it reveals all. It's like an x-ray. It reveals what you saw, what you didn't see, what you don't understand, what your crutches are, where you panicked. Oh, photo referencing, working with a photo reference, it's not a perk. It is a march through hell, because it reveals everything that student is going through in their process. It's just amazing for me as the teacher, because sometimes they can hide things in their no reference piece. Sometimes they can, act more skilled than they are. And yes, I've had students who actually lie about their skill level and use references and photo bash and think that I don't know after a decade of doing this, to think I have no idea. But I do. But working with reference, now if they traced, I could tell, because it's too close to the measurements. It's exact, it's 1-to-1. Even I can't do that. If they use a reference, it reveals their anatomy knowledge, where they had issues. It reveals technique issues. And some of my students, you can see how aggressive a teacher I am. I'm merciless. My students all improve. And some students like to record I make them record their process for me, so I can see how they're tackling certain things, certain areas. So we did a couple changes, just a couple. When you don't know how to read your reference, this person here did not read their reference right. It means that you rushed through no reference stage way too soon before you understood it. So that means that you didn't understand all your blocks and the list of blocks you have to do. You didn't understand where to blend and how to blend. You didn't do enough form studies, so you have a healthy respect for the base tone and the light environment. There's a lot to learn out of working with no reference. You're learning how to use the basic building blocks, and then you see how those building blocks have been used in the real world to make an actual being. You just skip a stage, you skip a grade. You're skipping a grade before it's time for you to skip a grade, which is why you had such a rough time with this reference. So my masterclass has all of that. My masterclass is, I'm so proud of it and I'm so excited because it does tell you where to put all the blocks on the face. It helps you with that stage where you're learning how to read a reference. It is the absolute, like, total summation of everything you need to know by the time you hit reference work. Because if I wish that I had something like that when I was younger, because it would have made all the difference, but I had to learn all these things the long way. But I hope, and if everyone who's excited to get it, I hope it doesn't disappoint. There is a lot of stuff that takes years to learn because it has to do with learning to organize your process after you've collected the information needed for that process. So the masterclass, my masterclass, is all of the information and the process, as well as organization of that information. It really is everything you need to know in order to read what you're looking at. We lightened the inside of the eyebrow, and we connected it to the shadow of the eye. So one way I want to critique today, I just want to show you really quickly. One way I want to critique. So look how unnatural the eyebrows look, and look how much more natural they look now. So one of the ways I wanted to critique today is not to completely copy the reference. So I understand that a lot of you, when you pick a reference, it's not to duplicate it one-to-one, although I recommend that as a challenge in and of itself. But some of you pick it as an inspiration, as a way to, as a shoe-in to get something to read. And that's how I use my references. I borrow from them. I don't really copy them. And we're not human printers. We're not photorealist painters. We're just painters. So we need to collect information and combine it to create something entirely new. So I'm going to try to respect the decisions you made while also still showing you how some of your decisions are not things I can honor because they were decisions made out of a lower skill. Okay, and then we've got a little bit of darkening there. I just want to make sure that those lines don't come back up. We do not need them. All right, so we're doing a lot. You see that shadow that sat on top of the eye? There's no need for that shadow. It's way too much contrast, and too much contrast looks muddy. It looks ugly. And it does not feel like an organic, natural way that values work on human skin, because human skin is very translucent and does not do those kinds of things. It doesn't cast those types of shadows while also getting that kind of light out, unless there's paint involved or pigmentation involved. All right, so I'm just adding that wrinkle in response to the light source as just a shadow. And then, I mean, look, this is a complete overhaul change today. And then I'm going to do some radial shading around the corners. So brushstroke number 1, number 2. And if you don't know what this is, you have to stop and start doing some front view 14-day challenge. But it's just 14 paintings. That's a lot of mileage. That takes care of a great deal of the mileage that you have to do as an artist who wants to be a character artist. That's a lot of the mileage right there. 14 portraits that all get critiqued. I mean, that's amazing. That's a lot of mileage. That's a lot of experience you're getting. That's like field experience right there. So just make sure you're not skipping it. Every student of mine in my community has to go through it. It's like your puberty. You have to go through it. And once you go through it, you just enter a new stage in your life as an artist. You just got to do it. You got to learn how to paint a face. You got to learn how to paint a face and then get critique and get it just shredded and start all over again. You have to put your pride aside. You have to understand where your mistakes are. You have to learn how to self-diagnose. You have to learn. It's all of that is in the same umbrella, which is the practice that comes with a 14-day challenge. And it's the first thing I ever really started doing when I first started teaching. It was the first challenge that I ever gave a student. I was like, okay, you're having a lot of trouble. You're having the same issues and you keep hacking away at the same portrait for weeks. Dude, just take that portrait, rip it up, throw it away, and start a new one, and keep starting a new one, because that's the #1 lesson behind being a great artist, is that you can rip up your piece and you know exactly what you did to get to where it is. And that's what my students can do. That's what all of my students can do, meaning all of you, and you will be able to, but you have to, you know, bite the bullet and start your challenge and get your critiques, even if you don't want to share it. Let's say you're just not ready to be part of a community. You don't have to be part of a community to start a challenge. You can just start with the mileage at least. And then when you're ready, when you feel comfortable, when you're confident, when you have a finished portrait in front of you, a couple portraits, maybe 5 installments of it, you can join the Reddit and start sharing your work, you know, once you're ready to do it. When do we know we'll be ready for contrast? You will crave it. But it's a craving that is more, it's just a taste of it. You just kind of crave a little bit in a certain area. But because you've avoided it for so long, you'll know what brush to use, how small a brush to use, and when to apply it. So you'll only be able to really apply the dark spots of the nostrils when it's time. So let me get rid of some of the contrast I applied, all right? Everybody ready? So just take a look. I'm going to get rid of the nose. I'm going to use a relatively dark shadow here. I'm going to get rid of the nose, the entire lip, and the eye contrast. Okay, and I'm just going to select that. And paste it. Okay, I only removed the black and the white, really. Only the black. I did not remove the white. I kept the white. Let's remove the white too, a little bit. Okay, so we're just getting rid of some of the white. Look at how much contrast lies to you. All right, so when you are at a point in your professional, or on your way to being a professional, and you're done the painting till this point, or relative to this point, something similar to this, you will crave an amount of contrast that is appropriate to its function. Nostrils are holes, so they deny a lot of light, so they look relatively black compared to the rest. We need those. And lashes are a combination of the black needed for the pupil and its dilating function, but also, and the lashes are pigmented. It's like having paint, maybe even makeup, which is actually paint used on the eyes. So we need that black there. The mouth is one big hole, and the corners of the mouth are dimples, so they deny a lot of light. But it's still getting, the annoying part is that these took nothing to make, but they look at the impact they have. But the stuff that took hours to do, which is the skin tone and the grays, don't really save the day when you get rid of contrast. So a big part of being a mature professional is learning to respect what's not entertaining and learning to deny the temptation of trying what's entertaining too soon. So it is a big problem when you guys do the opposite of this. You do what's entertaining really quickly and too soon, and you leave behind and delay what actually carries your painting into success, what carries you into success. All right, so before, image size, after, and we use the reference as help. Contrast is a liar. Contrast is the devil. All right. But anyway, lots of stuff. So if you would like to submit your work for Critique Hour, let's say you watched today's critique and you want to do a 14-day challenge and you want to get critiqued, you want to get your 14-day challenge installments critiqued, you just have to go to istebrak.com and click on the Reddit icon here. Please do join it. There is currently a community challenge. It's due on the 5th of May. Read through it. It's really, really fun. And if you'd like to support me, you can just support for $1 a month through Patreon. That's just $1, but if everybody joins, it's a lot. It's an untraceable amount. No one person has to carry a huge amount. everybody just gives in a little bit, and that keeps the community strong. It's a crowd-funded community. It's a strong community. Everything that I teach you today is only possible because of your patronage. So thank you everyone who's answered the call. And for those who are on the edge about it, it's $1 a month, but you get 8 videos, full videos of today's full class. You get that. Every video that is uploaded is not edited like I used to do, is given to all patrons. The masterclass will be available on my store, but it will most likely link you to the hosting site that I may choose. I'm most likely going with Gumroad since it really respects its creators. And I believe that's it for announcements. If you want to, the poll is still up on my community page on YouTube. So youtube.com/Istebrak. Click on the community tab. Scroll down to the post where I have the price listed, different price options for the masterclass. So now that you know, after watching today, what the masterclass is all about, what do you think is a fair price for it? I want to stay as transparent as possible in picking the price. I understand no matter what price I pick, it'll be too cheap, considering how much I've put into it and how many years went into becoming who I am in order to teach this masterclass. But, and I really appreciate those who've made that comment. I really appreciate it. But it's unrealistic to ask for $1,000 for a masterclass, which I believe is what is fair, considering how much work I've put into editing it alone. But no, I want to keep it fair. I'm not a capitalist. What do you think is a fair price? $50, $80? Right now, $80 is winning. But let me know what you think is a fair price for it. I really appreciate it if you guys went on this little quest and voted for me on the community page. On the community tab of my YouTube page, because it really helps me pick and have a confident pick in the price for the masterclass. And that's it. I'll see you guys on Tuesday, the 26th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget, the 5th is the due date. You get a Portrait Studio copy, a possible free portfolio review from me. I'll look through your entire portfolio, time permitting. I believe there is time in the summer. You get all my brushes, and you get to sit with me on the day. It's due on the 4th, but technically it's due on the 5th, just because I want to have time to you should be done. You should be done by the 4th. You should not be doing any last minute polishing, and if you do, it should be uploaded way early on the 5th, way early. But I do want to pick a winner on the 4th, so please try to upload as soon as possible. And the winner will sit with me on Critique Hour that day and just meet us and talk to us and all of that. And that's it. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.